The Jamie Dyer Show.
Right, very happy again to be here with Julian from Blues on the Farm. Hello to you.
Hello there, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. It's been a year since we last spoke. What's changed?
Well, I suppose we're both a year older, but apart from that, I suppose shortly after last year's festival, I started looking out bands for this year, our 25th year, our Silver Jubilee. So basically, we've got a pretty hot bunch playing again this time around. Some who've played here before, and others who are making their maiden voyage, as it were.
Yeah, and are there any similarities between the lineup 25 years ago to now?
I suppose you could say the only one who's sort of stood the test of time is dear Gary Brooker from Procol Harum, who's playing with us again this year. He was one of my sort of mentors, if you like, in the old days. The whole thing started off here as more or less a private party with a few musical friends and one or two others. We had a jazz band here and another couple of bands, and Gary said to me, "This is really good." He said, "This is such a good gig." He said, "People have paid to come to this." So we thought, well, following year, well, let's see if people will pay to come to a blues assembly. So we did a one-nighter. I think it was a Saturday night, and we had 3 bands on, and it sort of grew from there. You know, it expanded and went on, and of course now it's 3 full days and the Thursday night as well, featuring upwards of 25 bands over the whole of the weekend.
Yeah, which is a hefty booking thing to do, isn't it?
It is. It's quite formidable. Getting the right mix as well, you know, is one of the important things. Because, I mean, they're all the bands are good in their own right. You know, amateurs, right the way through. You know, they're all, if you like, semi-professional or professional musicians. But you've got to be a bit wary that you don't have too much similarity in the styles. You know, you could fill every night with sort of hard rock, you know, power blues trios, as I think they're popularly known nowadays.
Yeah.
But not everybody wants that. So what we've tried to do is sort of ring the changes, not be too hidebound with styles, and to bring in some, you know, some foreign bands, some from across the old herring pond there. We've got one band from Denmark this year. So yes, it's a bit of a mixture, really.
Yeah, well, I was there last year, I think, for one day, where you had Mud Morganfield headlining, and yeah, I was there for most of the day. I think the entire day, and just the sheer variety of acts that were there, and the different styles, as you say. What about things outside of the music? What else are you offering?
Well, because we're sort of a little bit restricted on acreage where we can put a lot of stalls up. We have a few nice little, certainly some very good food stalls, with a good cross section of everything from the famous hog roast, you know, right the way through to a dedicated vegetarian stall. And we also have our famous beer tent, which is my baby, really.
Yeah.
60-foot beer tent with about probably somewhere between 25 and 30 real ales. We have our own cider there, Appledram cider, and 2 or 3 other different styles of cider. We have things like draft pims. We have plenty of wine, and and generally speaking, it's quite a talking point. Also, we have some nice little sort of ethnic clothing stalls. We have a lady who comes up from Dorset who does some amazing face painting and henna tattoos and things like that, which went down really well last year. So it's a good fun sort of combination of various things. We always welcome families along, and what we've found over the years is that if you've got a couple with 2 or 3 kids or a single child, they'll bring them along for the morning, afternoon session, and maybe pop them back home and get to a babysitter, and then come back and enjoy the evening. Because once you pay for your ticket, you've got access in and out. There's no restriction. You don't have to pay again to get in or anything. So that's worked out quite handily for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry.
Go on. No.
No, I was going to say that obviously you haven't had all the bands confirmed yet.
No, there are one or two still in the pipeline. We've got TBCs, if you like, still up on the website there. It's just a question of one or two of the foreign bands who I've offered a space to. Obviously, to make it worth their while coming across from the States. Fares at that time of year are about $3,000 a piece or something. So they've got to try and get a few more gigs over here to justify coming over. They'd rarely come over for one gig, so to speak. So yes, watch this space, as they say. There's still one or two to be nailed down.
So who would you say were the headliners for this year, or is it literally? I mean, I've got the list in front of me, but you might want to explain kind of who the headliners are this year.
Yeah, always difficult because you don't like to pick out anybody who, perhaps more by fame than anything else. Of course, we've got the Mighty Blues Band with Paul Jones, the great exponent of the blues himself.
Yeah.
Who, like your good self, has his blues program on a Monday night every week. So he's returning. He's played here 2 or 3 times over the years, and looking forward to seeing him again. We've got, of course, Gary Brooker and friends, Procol Harum man, who again he's been here a few times, and then we've got Mike Sanchez, who's playing on the Thursday night. He also has been here he's been coming back over the years, probably since 20 years past, and always enjoys his gig here, and a lot of people come along to see him. So, yes, we've got a nice combination there. Some of the new ones, Sari in the Engine Room, wonderful lady from the States. She'll be playing on the Friday night. We've got probably the most popular power trio going at the moment. That's King.
Yeah.
They really have had a good press over the last few years, and that's Alan Nimmo who leads that. Marvelous lead guitarist who wears a kilt on stage there. He's been back 2 or 3 times, and then his brother Stevie, who he plays with in a different guise as the Nimmo brothers, he's playing with his own band on the Sunday. So, and we've got Thorben Rissiger and the Black Tornado. They're the Danish band I mentioned earlier on. Wonderful band, and absolutely delighted they're able to come over and play here. And then from now, Jerry Jablonski and the Electric Band, they're based in Scotland. They almost played here last year, but they had another booking. I was a bit late in getting hold of them, so they're back down here. And of course, the marvelous Ian Seagold, complete with his band. He's played here as a trio, in solo acoustic guys. And he'll be here on the Saturday night with his marvellous band. So Brillo from New Zealand, also on the Saturday. Superb rock and roll. I call it rock and roll blues that they do. Very much in the rock and roll theme.
Yeah.
Red Butler, young up and coming band. They won the Blues Award, and they're playing in Italy, I think, this week. As that was they played it. They were up against 2 or 3 other bands. They won, and as their reward, if you like, they were going over to Italy to play in a European blues competition. So it's a nice cross section there at the moment.
Well, it is. I mean, just from your descriptions there and from research earlier, it does sound like there's a huge variety of different acts. How do you source them? Where do they come from?
A lot of them, these ones that I've seen actually play live. I haven't seen Thorben play live because he hasn't been over here, and I haven't been to Denmark recently. But some of them are have been on recommendation, sort of in previous years, and I've put myself out to go and see them play, and you can always get a better feel for a band when you see them live than listening to them on on an album or whatever.
Yeah.
You get that lovely vibe, and for instance, the Jar Family are playing on Sunday. I was recommended to have a listen to them. Blues, they're not. I mean, you could call their style urban blues, I suppose. I think they call themselves. I think it's urban punk blues, and a marvelous band of guys there who are all excellent musicians and songwriters in their own right. The name the Jar Family comes from, they were all buskers at one time, and of course they all had a jar to throw the pennies in, and so one of them came up with the idea, that'd be a good name for us lot, the Jar Family. So they really get things stomping, so delighted that they'll be here.
Yeah.
We get a huge amount of sort of CDs and demos sent to us every year, and just little emails pop through, we'd love to play at the Blues, have you got any spaces or whatever? You've got to really, as I say, if possible, you've got to see these people live to get an idea of their on-stage competence and confidence, really.
Yeah. Didn't the Jar Family play there last year, or am I getting that wrong?
Yes, they did. I think it was last year. It might have been the year before. I'm not quite sure.
Yes.
Caught me on the hop there.
They ring a bell. They ring a bell.
Yes, they definitely played here either last year or the year before. The years merge into each other, I'm afraid.
No, that's fine. Obviously, that's between the 16th and 19th of June.
That's correct.
Obviously, there's 2 months to go. What do you do between now and then? We
just seem to be working on it, at some stage every single day. There's obviously the bookings, the ticket bookings coming in on a daily basis. We like to get those out as soon as possible. We had the tickets back from the printers last week, so everything, we're all up to date. Everything's gone out so far, and obviously people can do bookings online, or they can just ring us at the office here, and we'll take details over the phone and send them out by first class post to them. Yeah,
and obviously, have you sold out yet, or are tickets still available?
Yeah, still tickets available. Yep. There's usually a mad rush towards the end of this month. People say, "Oh my goodness, there's only 6 weeks to go or whatever. We better get a move on." and obviously we're doing quite a lot of flyers and posters, and we do a big advertising push. That's another thing you have to think about, is that if you push too early, people sort of they have a flyer or whatever and they throw it away. If you do it a little bit nearer to the gig, you tend to find people buy it, and they come along. But I think this year we've got just such a fantastic cross section of people that they're really going to want to be here. And as I say, with a couple more bands to be confirmed at the moment, there's still anybody who comes to the gig, they're going to get their money's worth and see some really excellent bands playing.
Well, as a previous attendant of your festival, I can definitely say that is the case. Obviously, for more ticket information, they can go on to bluesonthefarm.co.uk for more information. And how do you order tickets? Is that online on there, or do they have to ring a number?
No, if you go straight onto there, click on tickets, and up comes a fairly complex sort of comprehensive, I should say, not too complex, comprehensive matrix, and it gives you ticket prices. Children, of course, always very welcome. Any child up to 10 comes in free. That's 10 years old, not 10 o'clock at night. And an all-day child ticket is half adult price, and the child is between 10 years old and 16 years old. 16 plus, we reckon you're playing the guitar well, and you'll pick up a few tips by then. So then that's full price above 16 years old. But we always encourage youngsters along, and in fact, some of the youngsters who came along in the early years have taken music as their career path. So we're very pleased about that. We even do a drum workshop on the Sunday morning with Sam Kelly. So bring along your drumsticks, and we may well be doing a harmonica workshop as well. On Sunday, you probably noticed that we've got playing on the Sunday. We've got Debbie Bond and her partner in the band there. He plays amazing harmonica, and he said to me on the phone, calling me from Louisiana the other night, and he said, if you want us to do a harmonica workshop, we'd be delighted to do it. So we could well be doing that. So it's that's another aside to it. So all good stuff.
Oh, definitely, and it all makes quite a valuable festival as well. Very very good value for money, that as well.
Thank you. Yes, we try and give value for money, and I've never had any complaints over 25 years that people came along and didn't like what they heard. So let's hope we can keep up the good work.
Well, definitely, because last year I took my partner, who isn't really that into live music, but we both really, really enjoyed it because, like you say, there's a huge cross-selection of performers, and yeah, even for me, I'd not been to a live gig for ages, so you suddenly, every band is different, so therefore you get several different experiences, and the crowd noise, I mean, by 10, 11 o'clock at night,
yeah.
Everyone's crowding into the marquee, and it's such an atmosphere.
Yeah, lovely, good. I hope you're going to be along this year.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Excellent.
I think so. That's taking place on the farm, isn't it?
It is indeed, yeah. Pump Bottom Farm, just south of Chichester. Easily accessible from Chichester Station. We're about 1.5 miles from there, so anybody coming from the south coast, or indeed anywhere else, they can easily get down to us. There's a good bus service. There's a jolly good taxi's about £5 from the station there. They all know where to come to, and of course, if you're coming for the whole weekend, there's plenty of room for camping, and there's a great bonhomie goes on there. We've got people who come down from sort of Leeds and Northumberland, and they meet up with their chums that they met 10 years ago from Cornwall and Devon. It's great. It's like an international event, and we got quite a few chums come over from Germany every year, and I think also we'll probably be getting quite a few people coming from closer at hand as well, France and Spain as well. So judging by the ticket requests we've had, so yes, it's an international blues festival now, really.
Well, yeah, it's fantastic. Well, 25 years, you'd kind of expect it, wouldn't you? Especially in the digital age.
Well, hopefully we'll be doing something right, and we've got a very dedicated and loyal following of people who've been coming for absolutely yonks now, and we're very flattered, that people just like to come back and enjoy the vibe, basically. It's our big family, our big blues family. So really nice. My wife Kathy, she really enjoys it. She organises all the behind the scenes stuff, the tickets, the food for the bands and everything. And she thrives on it as well. So I think we've been we worked as a team together all those years and watched it develop on the way.
Yes,
it's great.
So it's a family affair in more ways than one.
Thanks. Great.
Yeah, well, anyway, I shall wish you very good luck with the festival this year in its 25th year, and let's hope it goes for another 25 years. And, I'm sure it will, because like you say, it's been a huge success, and people are coming every year, and it's a fantastic event. And good luck with it, and thank you very much for coming on to talk to us today, Julian.
Well, thank you so much. It's been a great pleasure, and let's hope all your listeners come down and spend at least one day with us down here and get to know what a great vibe it is and what a nice family and friends sort of oriented festival this really is. Thank you very much indeed.
The Jamie Dyer Show.